Hello, and welcome to the Hall County Special Education Aspire Training. I am Sarah Kulik, your Special Education Professional Learning Specialist. During today's session, you will learn what Aspire is, how it was developed, what it involves, and what the district expectation is for you to implement Aspire with your students. Aspire is a collaborative initiative between the Georgia Department of Education, Division for Special Education and Student Services, and the Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities. The Aspire initiative began in 2010, and Hall County is a fully integrated Aspire district. Every student with an IEP in Hall County should be participating in the Aspire program at some level. So what's in a name? Aspire stands for Active Student Participation Inspires Real Engagement. Aspire is the name that the Department of Ed has chosen to call their student-led IEP project. Aspire provides training and follow-up activities to enable students to actively participate in the development and implementation of their IEP. This process is referred to as self-directed IEP or student-led IEP. Many times, the term student-led IEP has many different names, just like Coke, soda, or pop. It's different words describing a sugary carbonated beverage. Aspire, self-directed, SLIEP all mean students having a say in their IEP, participating in their IEP meeting to the best of their ability. This will look different for everyone. Understanding that this may look different from traditional IEPs is a must, but it still contains all the components that you are accustomed to. Please understand that while the student participates in some way, they are simply one member of the team, not the ruler of the team. Depending on the age and level of functioning of your students, their roles and level of participation will vary greatly. As we go through this training, you will see how student-led IEPs help to increase student engagement and family involvement in the educational process. You will learn how students play a larger role in developing and implementing their IEP, and that it shifts from us as adults sitting around the table talking about the student or around the student to rather the student being the center of the meeting.
In school, these are the things I like less: reading, writing, not repeating things. Grandma helps me with it.
In the past, it's just been the parent in the school system sitting down and banging out what we want for him, what we think he should have to do, what we think his needs are. Now you're getting how he feels, what he wants.
My favorite class is Mrs. Wright's.
A lot of times they feel like they're up on the outside looking in. And I think that this is pretty important to let them feel, for them to take control back of their own life and existence and what's happening with life.
Do you remember going to IEP meetings and you never talked at all?
Yes.
Corey? I wouldn't have much to say. I just wouldn't talk. I was just there to listen to what was going to get slapped on my IEP without me saying, no, not that.
I like the fact that the students have done PowerPoints and they share them with the parents, because I think so many times the parent thinks they know what's best and they don't necessarily listen to their child, or the child may not feel comfortable expressing themselves. So I think that a lot of times the PowerPoint is going to give that student the voice that they might not have had with that parent in the past.
Why do you think it's important for you to do some of the talking?
Because my parents don't know me like they think they do. I like just to keep some things to myself, school and all that. I think all kids try to do that, try to hide stuff from their parents, everybody else.
He doesn't share things with me that are deep down feelings. You think he would because I'm his mom. But he told her things and shared things with her that absolutely, I sat down when I read them because in his IEP that I get home, she had wrote down what he wants and how he feels. And I sat down and I cried because, it was a big insight to things that he hadn't shared with me, that he had shared just with her.
All about my friends. My best friends are John, Zach, and Zach. Michael and Antoine are also my friends. Family. Mom, Dad, Billy, Julie, and my nephew and in school.
I really wasn't sure how they were going to react when I first started it. I really didn't think they were going to want to come with me on Tuesdays. I thought after a while they'd be like, oh, do we have to go do that again? But instead they were like, are we going to the library on Tuesday? If we didn't do it, they were like, are we going to do it next Tuesday? Are we going to go back?
All right, guys, today we're going to continue talking about self-determination and having a voice in your own IEP. And when we go through your IEPs, you're going to look at
It gave them a voice in their own program. I mean, one of the very first things that Amanda actually said to me was, it's about me. Shouldn't I know everything about me?
Welcome to my meeting. The people I invited: Mama, Wanda, Glenn, Preston, my dad, my Nana and Papa, my Aunt Crystal, Rayma, and Zoe.
The changes I've seen this year in the children who have been part of this self-determination project are this grasp of, this is about me. I'm a part of this. This is not about me and I'm excluded, but it's about me and I'm the center of self-determination. They, the teachers and the adults and my parents who are going to help me, need my input. And that was tremendously powerful to watch.
Which kind of IEP is better? One where you sat there and didn't say anything, or now when you do your presentation?
Now,
Why is now better?
Because I get to read it to everybody.
What is it? What does that make you feel?
A big, strong boy.
Self-determination teaches them responsibility. Also being involved in what's going on in their education is important. Can you imagine the look on a child's face when he realizes, hey, I'm part of this. I have a role here. I have a responsibility. Special ed teachers as a whole, I think, have sheltered our students. I mean, I know personally I have from the time I was started in education. We did not want to use the terminology around students. We just told them that they learn differently. Now the students understand their terminology. They're not going to let us get away with that anymore. The students understand what accommodations are and how it will affect them, particularly when they understand that it leads to a diploma or a type of diploma. So I really think that they're going to have a stronger voice, and I look forward to these students getting to high school and leading their IEP meetings.
First thing we're going to do is do Heather's present level of performance, which Heather has, she and I have worked on this for about the last 3 weeks, and she's written this portion of her IEP. So Heather, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. My name is Heather Good, and I'm 18 years old and in 11th grade at Turner Ashby High School. I have been receiving special education service since I was in 2nd grade. I need special education service because I get my words and numbers backwards. It takes me a long time to do that.
After taking part in some of the self-determination, Heather took full control of her IEP. She wrote her present level. She told me exactly what she did and did not want in her present level performance. She just took complete ownership of her IEP. She understood, I think for the first time, what an IEP was, what special education was, and why she was in it. I think all these years, she never really realized that she was in special education or what special education was doing for her.
I have lots of friends. I am open with my feelings. I have made new friends at school this year and at my job at the water park. I don't get involved in all the drama like I used to. I think that I have matured.
I never, ever thought this was possible for my students. It used to be where I never even involved them in their IEP because I didn't think they had the ability to understand what it meant for their education, that they didn't know what they wanted in life. This has opened up a whole new avenue for me. I think I've understood now that yes, they do know what they want in life. They do have desires, they do have goals, and they do know how to reach those goals. Why do you think it's important for you to talk to me?
Because I have more say so, and I can tell people what I'm doing, how it affects me and stuff.
She knows what she wants, and she is she's going after what she wants. She has decided that she wants to earn her CNA. She's decided that after that she would like to try college, maybe the community college. She knows she wants to work in the hospital in the birthing unit, that she wants to get a license, that she wants to live on her own. And I think she's finally realized that she has control over that no one else is going to tell her what to do, that if these are her beliefs and these are her dreams, that she can live her dreams.
We're here for Johnny's IEP meeting, and he has written his own present level performance. We went through each section, and he wrote it completely on his own, and so it's in first person, so he's going to read it. I will read the category headings, and he will basically run this meeting by reading his present level. So first, it's Johnny's history. So he's going to go ahead.
I'm currently a junior at Turner Ashby High School. I have a disability in reading comprehension. I notice that when I read anything, it feels like I'm not getting the whole explanation. Freshman year, I got in trouble a lot. I didn't do any homework, and I was just dumb. I failed the grade, and
I think he felt that inside, that he was turning his life around. But when he got to really express that in his IEP and kind of show where he's come from and how he's doing now, I think it helped him to really be proud of himself for what he's done.
Did you get to IEP meetings where you didn't say?
yes, ma'am.
What was it like?
I just sit there and let my mother talk to him. I mean, you understand some of it, but then it's not like you don't get any benefits out of it from not saying anything.
Next, we're just going to talk a little bit about accommodations that you feel like you need in the classroom to help you succeed with schoolwork and tests, and what you feel like you really need to help with your disability.
Based on my accommodations, I just need all my tests.
I think it is a much more honest IEP. I think it's just represents the kids so much more. I mean, you can get an IEP full of testing scores and reports from different tests and different teachers, and those are helpful, but they don't really explain what a kid's like. And that's really what you have to deal with as a teacher. What's this person like? What's their personality? What do they think about themselves? Because that's what you work with. You don't really work with test scores so much.
And I remember back in 1989, when all of us were sitting around the table, 10 school psychologists, all those people, and there wasn't even a student in the room. And here we are setting goals for the student without them there and talking about them without them there. And here we are now, setting their own goals. They're writing their own IEPs. They're just being advocates for themselves. So it's just amazing changes I've seen.
Excellent job on your poster.
Yeah.
Very nice. This shows us all the things that Ted likes.
He's 15. This is his first year in high school. Ted is autistic. He has had a great first year of high school. He has wanted to come here so badly because his sister came here and he saw this as something that he wanted to do too, so he couldn't wait to get here.
When you grow up, where would you like to work?
Race.
Oh, you would like to be a race car driver?
Yes.
Wow, that would be good. Is there anything else you're interested in?
Yeah.
What other job would you like to have? Maybe a job you could do around here.
He knows what he wants to do in school, and he pretty much just, is very excited that there is a meeting about him and everybody's talking about him. But this year, he talked a little bit about what he wanted to do. He knew that he wanted to continue with course next year, and he knew he wanted to still have certain teachers next year. He knew we wanted to have PE and things like that. So he is participating more in that as far as what he wants to do, instead of everyone just getting together and deciding what he needs to do. He's helping.
When you're grown up and have a job and racing on the weekend,
Race, yes.
where would you like to live?
Daytona.
Would you like to live at Daytona?
This is a step in Ted becoming independent and being able to live independently. If he can be able to start to make decisions for himself and decisions for his life and what he wants to do, this is a step in many, many steps that he will need to take to be able to have an independent life. And I know that he wants to have an independent life.
At IEP meetings where I did not participate, it was like I was thinking, why am I even here? Because I'm going to say so anything that goes on, so why am I here?
My name is Helen Faulkner. I want to present this. My name is Heather Faulkner, but I go by my middle name. I'm 18 years old and I'm a 12th grader at Turner Ashby High School. I will be graduating this year. I have passed all my SOLs that are required for a standard diploma as of the end of 11th grade.
She started doing her own IEPs at started that process in 9th grade. I got her as a 10th grader, and I think really being involved in that and understanding her disability and understanding that it is social and behavioral, and I think she's been able to translate that and take some control over that in her life. That's been a big it's been a big positive thing for her as well, and she hasn't had a lot of positive experiences in school.
Hi, Nicole, would you give us some words about your plans for the future and your current academic performance?
I have completed requirements for a standard diploma from Turner Ashby High School. I will have as of June 2007. I currently have my license, but do not have a vehicle at this time. I'm not very good at cooking on the stove, so I usually only.
She used to walk by me and not say a word or talk to me or act like I was even there. And now she'll come up to me. She'll even walk in my office and talk to me and just say, hey, what's going on? And tell me about her life and what's going on with her boyfriend or with her car.
It really changes. It changes the focus. It's not paperwork all of a sudden. It's real. It's what's happening to help these kids become more successful at school, and it makes sense. And now I look forward to working with students one-on-one, and they get a lot out of that as well. I think they enjoy that attention, and they enjoy feeling good about themselves after they have the meeting.
We want to ensure that everyone knows what self-determination is and why we are talking about it. Aspire is a student-led IEP initiative designed to develop self-determination skills in the following areas: problem solving, self-evaluation, choice making, and decision making. So what is self-determination? Self-determination is a combination of skills, knowledge, and beliefs that enable a person to engage in goal-directed, self-regulated, autonomous behavior. It's an understanding of one's strengths and limitations, together with a belief of oneself as capable and effective, are essential to self-determination. We're going to look at what this means in plain English. So in plain English, self-determination is knowing and believing in yourself, knowing what you want in the future and making plans to achieve those goals, and knowing and asking for the supports you need to achieve your goals. How are student-led IEPs and self-determination linked? Student-led IEPs are one way of helping students become better self-advocates, learning to apply the skills of self-determination, goal setting, and self-evaluation. Self-determination and self-advocacy are interrelated. Is self-determination just for students with disabilities? No. Research indicates that the benefit of the benefit of self-determination for all students. Problem solving, self-evaluation, choice making, and decision making are a part of many standards and are 21st century skills that students need to be successful in today's world. For our students with disabilities, those who know more about their disabilities, rights, and accommodations showed increased self-confidence and a better ability to self-advocate. All of this has led to better post-high school outcomes for students with disabilities. What is the importance of self-determination in the process of implementing student-led IEPs? Aspire was modeled after a project in Virginia called I'm Determined. Feel free to check out the variety of videos they have listed on their website. There are a myriad of resources available on their site as well. This is not a cookie-cutter program, so you can adapt it to meet the needs and level of your students. Our goal is for teachers to make the paradigm shift and see the possibilities for all. The next few slides help illustrate the possibilities. In a traditional IEP, students might have little knowledge of the purpose for their meeting, the IEP and its contents, or his or her disability. But with a student-led IEP, the student is aware of the purpose of the IEP meeting, contributes to the content of the IEP document, and understands his or her disability. In a traditional IEP, adult team members generally take the lead in determining the content, versus a student-led IEP, where the student has a say and helps determine what should go into that IEP. With traditional IEPs, students might not participate in discussion or decision-making. The meeting tends to focus more on the student's deficits or what they can't do, and the meeting might not be valued by the student, general education teacher, or even the parents. Through student-led IEPs, students are often the discussion leader and present information in a variety of ways. The meeting focuses more on the student's capabilities, their interests, and their plans for the future. And research-based evidence has shown that student-led IEP meetings have improved participation as teachers and parents respond to invitations from students. Finally, in traditional IEPs, students and parents may not understand the connection between accommodations and instruction, and the IEP may not reflect the student's interests or concerns. This is particularly true for our older students. But with a student-led IEP, students and parents develop a better understanding of the student's accommodations and how those and what role those play in instruction. And the IEP reflects on the intent to increase student voice in educational decisions, producing a dynamic document reflective of the student's personality and their future hopes and plans. By utilizing a student-led IEP model, the IEP meeting becomes a cooperative experience of working together to assist the student. You may have noticed in the videos that the tone of the student-led IEP meetings is such that it reduces the likelihood of contentious meetings. Having the student present for some or all of the meeting sets the stage for a productive and collaborative meeting. Just imagine your students creating an invitation to their IEP meeting, introducing themselves and others at the meeting, or selecting pictures to show at the IEP meeting about a typical school day with them doing the things that they enjoy. We're going to look at some possibilities for participation. Think about a student you might like to work with, and think about which of these items on the next few slides would be an appropriate starting point. An invitation created by a student does not replace the legal document. Be sure to also include a formal IEP meeting invitation, but be creative and age appropriate. A preschooler could make a construction paper invitation. A middle schooler could compose and send an email, and a high school student could send text invitations or reminders. Discussing goals for life after high school and how to reach them, the transition plan, is something that every 8th through 12th grader should already be involved in. Consider having the students complete the transition plan in their own words and talk about that at the meeting. You might have to translate it into legalese, but think of the time it can save not having to come up with some cookie-cutter words to insert into the document. Students can work on clicking a mouse on a computer to move from one slide to the next in a PowerPoint presentation and describe each slide during the meeting. They can help narrate and select images for a slide presentation that portrays the subject areas they are good at, those they struggle with, and how teachers can help. They can discuss goals for life after high school and how to reach them. Think about the possibilities of your students facilitating the agenda of the IEP meeting, leading the IEP, or mentoring other students. Your students doing these things are participating in their IEP meeting. Again, Aspire is for all students. Students of all ages, pre-K through age 22, students with all disabilities, mild, moderate, or severe cognitive disabilities, physical impairments, visual or hearing impairments, speech language, other impairments, students in any instructional setting, general education classroom, collaborative classroom, co-taught, part day separate classes, full day separate classes, that there is no limit on who can participate in Aspire. Again, keep in mind that the vocabulary and degree of participation will vary from student to student. The emphasis needs to remain on the student, what is important to them, and then using that information to plan and implement the IEP. So what are the benefits of implementing the student-led IEP? We've collected data over the years of integrating and becoming a fully implemented district, and here's what we've learned. We've learned that through utilizing Aspire, we've increased graduation rates for our students with disabilities, that we've seen a decrease in office referrals and discipline issues for our SWDs. We've seen a decrease in the dropout rate and an increase in student achievement. So, how might shifting from a traditional IEP model to a student-led IEP model benefit you? And how might shifting from a traditional IEP model to a student-led IEP model benefit your students? During the process of a student-led IEP, students learn how to speak for themselves. They learn about goals and objectives that form the basis of their education and why these goals and objectives are important for them. Ultimately, they become more involved in their own education. They gain a better understanding of their disability and how to speak up for what they need to be successful. They take greater ownership and pride in what they are doing. Colleges and employers need to know how to accommodate through ADA. They cannot do this if the student does not self-identify. Through programs like Aspire, we are empowering our students with disabilities to self-advocate and to self-identify, and then be able to request accommodations and supports that they need to be successful long beyond their high school career. Through Aspire, it helps students see relevance of schoolwork to their lives, provides structure for goal setting and attainment, results in more focused, motivated, and engaged youth, and the IEP process becomes more meaningful to everyone. Like I said earlier, it's not just paperwork anymore. Students begin to identify those adults who can be support systems to them. They take ownership over their education and take a more active role in their transition plan. But this doesn't only benefit students, it also benefits their families. Studies showed that students who included self-determination goals in their IEPs were more likely to earn a higher income 1 year after graduation. Parents reported that through Aspire, they had improved communication with the teacher, an increased understanding of the IEP process, had a more self-determined child, and had positive interactions with school personnel. Families who have participated in the Inspire initiative have described it as life-changing. Most families are amazed at the level of their child's involvement in the meeting and report high levels of satisfaction with the student-led IEP process. We ask parents, students, and teachers to complete post-surveys to help us gauge the impact and effectiveness of the Aspire program on families and students. Aspire also involves administrators, keeping them informed. Your administrators have received an overview of the Aspire initiative, but it will be important to keep them in the loop. Share your successes and invite them to a meeting so they can see for themselves what a great job you're doing. As I mentioned earlier, we are a fully integrated Aspire district. It is expected that all students with an IEP are participating in Aspire. Build capacity by increasing the number of students who are participating each year and by educating additional teachers in the concepts of Aspire. We suggest that you identify the IEP folder with an Aspire sticker or mark it so that a new teacher or case manager knows that the student has participated in the past. We'll talk more about this later on in the presentation, but for now, just note that all students are expected to participate in Aspire to some level of capacity, and that we want to make sure that we indicate that in the IEP some way. Your parent mentor is Paula Porter. She can help educate parents about the benefits of their student becoming self-determined and participating in their IEP. The State Personnel Development Grant from the federal government is funding this initiative, so it is important that you follow the guidelines for data collection during the grant period. We also want to evaluate the effectiveness quantitatively so that we can add this to this student-led IEP research. Okay. Pre-assessments are done on students who are participating for the first time. You only need to do a pre-assessment if the student has never participated in Aspire within Hawk County. Post-assessments are done annually for parents, teachers, and students to track growth and progress. Since you're new to this process, we encourage you to start small and build gradually over time. So where are we documenting that our students are participating in Inspire? In the present level of academic functioning and performance of the IEP, you're going to add the statement that the student is an Aspire participant. Under the Strengths section of the PLAF, you're going to add a statement on how specifically the student participated in their IEP meeting, whether they completed my Good Day sheet or my Circle of Support, if they helped develop their present level of performance, if they created the invitations and did invitations or introductions, or if they led the entire meeting. Whatever level of involvement they had, please be sure to include that in the Strengths section of the present level of performance. Assessments and surveys. Pre-survey, you want to make sure that you complete those within 4 weeks of training. And this is the perception of IEP involvement. And pre-surveys are for new students in Aspire only. So students who have it's an initial IEP, they're new to the district. Those are the students who would be doing Aspire. The post-survey should be completed following an IEP meeting. Again, this is participation level and evaluation, and is for teachers, students, and parents. Survey links are available from your coordinator or on the Aspire module on Canvas. These are electronically done. A lot of times we make sure we encourage teachers to implement the post survey right there at the IEP meeting, at the end of the IEP meeting. It just makes it easier. You can always print them out if you need to, but make sure that you're not doing multiple submissions for each student. Okay. Please make sure, and this will be on the surveys already, to fill in the school's official name as recorded by the DOE. The title and the role must match. You must use the student's official legal name, and be sure that you indicate our school district. Okay. We know that there will be some challenges. We know that time and scheduling are challenges that you will face. This is different in a learning curve. How in the world will my students ever do this? But we have testing, and I have to go through these standards. We understand all of that. Please understand that we know this. We understand that this is a learning curve, and we are here to support. Let me offer some solutions. Start small. Start with My Good Day or Circle of Support. Find a way to embed this into your instruction so that you're successful. Select a basic level of participation for most students the first year, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Find another fellow special ed teacher in the building and ask them how they're implementing Aspire. Okay. Each school, class, and teacher is unique. Some teachers create a special class on self-determination and the student-led IEP. Some include instruction in existing course structure, teaching about student-led IEP topics through groups and individualized instruction. You can incorporate instruction into the general curricula, such as a language arts class, using groups or individualized instruction. Or you can have students come in for individual planning meetings before school starts, in the morning, during lunch, or at the end of the day. So what's the next step? First things first, you will need to inform parents that your students are participating in Aspire. Get with your students who have not ever participated in Aspire and help them complete the pre-surveys. Determine what tools will best fit your classroom style and your students' abilities. Identify what skills need to be taught and choose a lesson. Samples will be listed on Canvas. And provide training in the process to students, potentially parents, and possibly members of your IEP team. Involve parents. Okay. You, as the classroom teacher, parent involvement is difficult. Encourage your parents to attend the parent meeting that the parent mentor can conduct, and if a parent is reluctant to have their child participate, perhaps the student is not the best candidate for the first year, or you might consider suggesting the student only participate in the first few minutes of the meeting. Have the student introduce participants, share their strengths and challenges, and then you can dismiss them from the meeting. This should allow the parent to become comfortable with the idea. The tools you will use to help facilitate student success will vary depending on your teaching style, the student's level of involvement, as well as their ability. There is an Aspire brochure on the module on Canvas that can be used to inform the members of the IEP team about what you're doing, and you can review the section with optional lesson plans. You as a classroom teacher are the most trusted source of information. Encourage your parents to assist their child in preparation and reassure them that the process will be positive. Again, call upon your parent mentor to help educate parents by explaining the process, providing training, and ongoing contact. Okay. Encourage parents to help their child understand their disability, strengths, and challenges, to help their child understand how accommodations can assist them, and to talk with their child about setting goals. We understand that not every parent is ready to disclose their child's disability to their child, but we strongly encourage this process and support it in incremental steps as they are comfortable. Remember that students can participate in their IEP in a variety of ways. It does not have to look the same for everybody. It does not mean that everyone must lead their entire IEP and be there for the entire thing. Depending on age, maturity, developmental level, cognitive level, it will look different for everybody. Remember that involvement in the IEP can simply be preparing and delivering meeting invitations, introducing IEP meeting participants, discussing their likes and dislikes, explaining their strengths and weaknesses, explaining their accommodations, assisting in developing goals for the upcoming year, and presenting actual portions of the IEP. But again, we understand that this might not be possible for all of our students, so pick and choose what's appropriate for each individual student. Let's take a look at some Georgia student samples. Okay. In this particular case, you can see that this student utilized a lot of pictures to help them communicate things that they liked, what they like at school, and what's hard at school. Again, address the student's functioning needs, and let's talk about where that student is actually performing and functioning, and then make the student-led IEP process attainable for them. Some students are ready to develop different PowerPoint presentations. Okay? This high school student and elementary school student both utilize PowerPoint for their presentation. The high school student is dressed up because the teacher incorporated preparing the IEP meeting into work readiness skills, like how to dress for an interview or important meeting. Okay. Let's take a quick look at one student who you might not think could handle the student-led IEP. And let me change your way of thinking.
Hi, welcome to my IEP meeting. I'll set up a short video for you, and I'll set this video to one of my favorite songs. And I hope through this video you will learn a little more about me. So here we go.
As you can see, Ashan had some challenges, but through the use of technology and some support from teachers and family, he too was able to participate successfully in the Aspire process. Let's take a look at one more example. In this example, the student is given a Google presentation that is pre-formatted, and the student just fills in the items. Let's take a closer look. Here the student has the cover page. They're able to insert a picture of themselves and alter their name. As they use the tabs along the bottom, they can add further information, like facts about themselves, their interests, including pictures, strengths and struggles, as well as things that are helpful for them when they're having a hard time. Most importantly, we ask the student about the future. This student decided that when they grow up, they want to be a movie director, since he makes movies on his iPad and loves making movies. As you can see, all students are capable of participating. The I'm Determined website has a variety of examples and resources to use to help you work on Aspire and self-determination skills. Feel free to access it when it's convenient for you. Like us, a student will feel more comfortable if they have or create an agenda to follow during the meeting. This is an added benefit of keeping everyone on track. If a student uses a PowerPoint, then the PowerPoint is their agenda. The first meeting is going to be nerve-wracking for everyone. A little practice can go a long way. Relaxation techniques include yoga breathing, taking a deep breath, etc., etc. Hold mock meetings and practice. And then don't forget, for first-time student participants, be sure to complete the pre-survey prior to the IEP meeting. After the meeting, evaluate. Complete post-surveys, teachers, parents, and students. Some teachers have everyone take the post-survey on the spot. One teacher reads the survey to the students so the parents can follow along with their survey if needed. There is a sample thank you note available on the Aspire module as well. Make sure that you have the students send thank you notes to those who attend the meeting, and then celebrate this big momentous success. There are a ton of Aspire resources available for you to use. The following resources are available in the Aspire folder on Google: a parent letter, the Aspire brochure, sample lesson plans, and the All About Me template. You can access the folder by using the QR code to the right. Additional resources can be found here. Remember, ASPIRE stands for Active Student Participation Inspires Real Engagement. If you need further support, feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information is listed here. And again, additional resources are in the Aspire Google folder. Just click the QR code to the right and you're set to go.